today we are going to continue learn Unit 5, Organizing. We have take a look at the planning, and we also did strategic planning in previous classes. So today we are going to take a look at the organizing. The unit outline for this chapter, the first one is regarding the structuring and designing organizations. So we are going to take a look at the types of organization structure, and then we are going to take a look at the benefit of organizing. Next is managing people, and then lastly is managing relation. So as an introduction, so one of the benefit of organizing is we want to make sure that everything is in place, everybody knows their role, because organization consists a lot of people with various skill, various background, and then when we employ them, we want to make sure that they are doing um, exactly related to their skill, right? And then, like I've mentioned to you, we have various type of relationship, and business has various stakeholder designing and structuring the organization. And there are several strategies implemented or used in structuring organization. There are several strategies, or there are several um, indicator. Managers must make choice about the type of organization structure which appropriate to be adopted by their company to promote the realization of its goal. So this is when we going to take a look at the types of organization structure later. Not every company has similar structure. It is all based on their culture, and then their goals, the number of the staff in the company, the number of departments, and so on. Okay, so let's take a look at the learning outcome for this topic is comprehend the process of organizational design. You should comprehend the process of organizational design. You should be able to explain the importance of the effective management of people in an organization and comprehend the significance of managing relations to business entity. As I mentioned previously, we have a lot of stakeholders in business, so we are going to take a look at how um, what are the best strategy, what are the best practice to maintain a good relationship with them. Okay, so I think before we start talking about organizing or structuring and designing organization, so I'm going to share with you first the organizing process. Okay, so basically there are five organizing process. The first one is, if you remember that I said that it must align with their goal, right? So the first step is make sure that when during organizing, the company must make sure that it is actually aligned with their company's mission and vision that we have learned in previous class, right? So this is actually impacted by the external environment that we have learned as well. We are going to take a look at the economic factor, the legal factors, and then make sure that when we want to organize our company or our structure, make sure that it's actually aligned with the vision and mission, right? Because everything related to when we want to um, do structure, this is a long-term planning. Okay, long-term planning meaning that strategic planning. We don't want this is not something that we going to change yearly basis. Normally, when we implement a structure, we implement it's like a one time with the departments. There might be times where we need to maybe restructuring, right? But we don't do that every year, and it's not good as well if a company do that every year. If you do that every year, meaning that you everybody will get confused. All right, everybody means the employees, especially employees, all right, because they should know that their role. So let's say if you want to restructure a lot, right? This is not in your strategic planning, you restructure a lot, you change here and there. Um, this might lead to confusion, right? Where later can contribute to job role conflict. Sorry, role conflict of your employee means that they are not sure about what they're supposed to do, and that maybe the expectation of their employer is not the one. It's not similar, or it's not in sync with what they perceive they have to do. And then it's good that they can learn new things, but if this happens frequently, there might be loss of motivation over there. But let's talk about it later. Okay. So my point here is to make sure that when we talk about organization structure, it must be involved in strategic planning, so that you know what is your vision, your future, so you organize based on that. When I talk about organizing, this include as well resource allocation, right? That's why it's very important for you to include this in your strategic planning. And then the second one is to determine the task, determine the responsibility of your employee, of all the resources, like human resource. Why? Because we don't want this role conflict again, and then we don't want an overlapping of job. We want people to know employee. We want employee to exactly know what they are doing, what are their responsibility. That's why job description is very important when you write it. It's not just like a fancy thing, fancy document that you send to your employee during recruitment, right? It should be in detail, right? So that they know what are their responsibility, and you know as well when you organize the responsibility, you know that you don't have a lot of manpower doing the same thing, and you don't want a shortage of employee, shortage of manpower doing a lot of things, right? And this is all will go back to motivation, job satisfaction, and so on, right? So yeah, you have to delegate, determine first the duty, the responsibility, and also the authority with every structure, with every job title that employee have, that employees have. It comes with an authority, right? Their own authority. So they should know that as well. Based on the structure, we can see who's in charge, what are the things that we are in charge, and then who have the authority to make any kind of decision, right? And then the third one is to group into a unit, or what we call as subunits, okay, or business units. This is another thing. One of If we take a look at the large companies, corporate, they sometimes have, not sometimes, corporate, definitely they have a few SBU, strategic business unit, under their huge umbrella, right? Okay, under a huge umbrella. So this strategic business unit, normally they have a structure under them, right? So let's say if you are working for a corporate, um, a huge corporate, and then you need to determine first what are the units, what are the subunits, right? What are the departments? You have to group them together. For example, I take the easiest one, which is marketing. Okay, a lot of things falls under marketing, right? One of business, one of department, ataupun maybe your business unit is, everything is under um, vice president of marketing, VP marketing, marketing VP, right? So that is one huge business unit. Okay? So you have to group everybody together. I mean, everybody that have similar responsibility. That is logical, logical tasks grouped together, so that it is more, it is more smooth. Okay, the business, it will run smooth because it's easier for them to communicate. And let's say if you want to separate it, then you must, it depends on your business, it depends on the needs of your business. if needs to separate, let's say marketing, okay, business development is some sort of like marketing. Some companies it falls on the marketing department, and some they have their own because um, their business development they also have the sub units based on the key accounts and so on. Okay, so it depends on your company, but one of the process is to group these departments ataupun these logical units together, right? And after that, when you have all the departments, you have list out your responsibility and so on. So this is where you have to coordinate the resources, financial resources, all your technology, skill, human resource, and everything. Okay, now that you have a channel, that you have a platform, and then this is the moment where you should coordinate your resources. Okay. Why? To just to make sure that it's efficient and effective, like what we have talked previously in previous chapter. Okay, next and lastly, okay, the last one is definitely monitoring and feedback. Okay, but like I've mentioned to you, when this is involves strategic planning, so um, you can monitor, and let's say if it doesn't work, so you implement change, but make sure that this is not that frequent. All right. And sometimes because this is all external factors, some of it external factors are impacting how our business work. So let's say sometimes technological factors and sometimes the environmental factors, it can affect our business operation. So this is where you should monitor, and then you should implement changes as needed. Okay, so let's go here. For basic step that managers can guide, like I've mentioned to you just now, is definition of business units, and then the assessment of the needs based on your company's mission, goals, aims, and target, anything. All right, definition of the management and the executive team. So not every company they have the same job title, their executive teams, and then the departments even. Okay, not every company have the same management structure. So it depends on your company how to define management. Daripada level mana, should be your top management level, even do you even have the middle level management, or straight away first level management, or you don't even have first level management manager, sorry, first level manager, you just have a middle level manager and then top manager. So it depends on how you define your executive team. And lastly is establishment of performance metric and compensation policy, right? Okay, so when we talk about organizing, before we can go to the types of organization ataupun types of structure, so let's take a look at the elements of organization. So these six things you should be familiarized with, the six elements, all right? So the first one is the types of what we call this, um, the types of structure. Okay, the types of structure. But this is a category lah. Okay, I can say that this is a category of structure. Right. So we have one before we go to centralization and okay, that one I got here. So the first one is the category ataupun the way that it works, the approach. So we have centralization and decentralization. I have put the picture here. So as you can see, centralization means from one source. Okay, in communication, centralization means that it comes from one source. It is more control, more consistent. So as you can see here is the managing director. One managing director is managing all the departments. All right, all the departments, sales department, purchase department, IT department, and so on. Meanwhile, for decentralized organization, so they have their own like business units just now, where decentralized organization means that they have more authority, more decision make freedom in decision making without waiting for HQ or without waiting for the managing director to give instructions. Okay, they work in terms of communication. They are given freedom in making decision, and then one of it is the information flows between a lot of sources, right? It does not come from one sources. So let's say for centralized organization, let's say if you have several business unit or branch, every information you have to wait from your parent company, and then you don't have any freedom to make your own um, decision. Okay, for example, like let's McDonald's. Okay, but McDonald's is decentralized organization, based on the geography, location, and so on, right? And based on uh, the company that owns them. Um, One thing good about centralization, like I've mentioned, is it provides control. So it can the decision, the outcome will be much consistent, and then they should be able to control the flow of information, control the to make it less easier. Standardization. But for decentralization, the pro is um, more faster communication, faster decision making, and the decision making can cater to more what we call like for example, a location oriented or a customer centric. Um, Based on it is not so standard. Okay, it can be customization. It can be more not so focused lah. Okay. So next is the span of control. So span of control referring to the span of management. Span of management meaning that the number of subordinates or employee that is managed by a manager. So for example, if so we have narrow span and then we have wide span. Let's say if a narrow span means that supervisor or manager, they only supervise a few people, like five, or this is just an example. But if it's a wide span of control, what span of control, this supervisor will handle a lot of employee. So we are going to take a look at later types of structure, and you are going to see these types of span of control, right? Based on the number of subordinates that one manager have. Okay? We have narrow and then we have wide. So if let's say if a narrow span, okay, if a narrow span of control, this is more costly because you need to hire more manager to supervise. But let's say if it's a wide span, um, it can be more centralized. I mean, a lot of subordinates are reporting to one manager, and then a prompt response. Okay, less bureaucracy, less hierarchical, less hierarchy. So meaning that faster flow of information, and then less cost. Chain of command. So chain of command is when you see an organization structure, you let me just open this for a while. Okay, so this line, this is what we call as chain of command to see who's actually in charge. Who is your reporting director? Who you for chain of command, we are going to see the levels of management and then the positions, the authority. Okay, so this is what it means by the chain of command. Formalization. So formalization, it depends on your company whether to be formal or informal. All right, formal or informal. So let's say for a formal organization, they have a structure, well-defined job. Okay, structure well defined, and then let's say if it's an informal organization, they have like a network of maybe personal connection, personal network, or it can be like a social relationship, right? It can be social relationship, but they have structure. Okay, they also have structure. um, I give you one example. Maybe this is not really related to business, but let's say for informal, if you have a rukun tetangga dekat your neighborhood area, okay, neighborhood area, you do have structure. You have the ketua, ketua, what do we call it? Ketua taman ke kan? Like in my residential area, we do have committee. Okay, committee. This this looks formal, but actually because we are uh, based on a social relationship, okay, social relationship compared to the corporate one, that one is formal lah, yang mana they have like a predetermined goals, vision and mission. But for informal, normally this is just to assist on something, assist on for example, like I've mentioned to you just now, we have a committee just to make sure that everything is smooth here. We do have platform to report, to complain. That's all. Okay. So if we are talking in the business context, informal organization can form within formal organization. Okay. Take a look at yourself. Try to remember if you have a group of friends, good friends in your organization, in your company. You have a group of friends, and um, sometimes it is actually the structure. It is actually determined by the way that you, how to say, upon agreement of everybody. For example, like, oh, this is the leader of our a group of friends. Okay, always see this person as the leader. This is not appointed by the management, but they are still working there in the same organization. It's just that your structure, your your clan or your group, or in Bahasa we call puak, is made by you. Okay, it's an informal. Next is work specialization. So work specialization means that when you are employed, you have your own specialization, your skill, your from your background, education background, and also work history, working background. So you do have that, and make you an expertise in whatever you do. So work specialization means that when you are assigned in one job position, so that is your work specialization. For example, like me, I'm teaching management subject, so that is my specialization. And lastly is departmentalization. Okay, so this is what we are going to take a look at later. The types of department, okay, the types of structure or the types of department that is commonly used in organization, right? And I think you or most of you, I think all of you are working adults, so you know your own department, right? So I think it will be so easy for you to relate to yourself. You know which department you belong to. um, it can be but the difference is maybe the nature of your company, or the nature of the company. Your department might be different based on the nature of the company. Okay, so let's take a look at the common forms of organization structure. So these are some of the common form, but let's take a look at this with explanation and so on. So we have the hierarchical organization structure. This is how it looks like for most of the company commonly used. You can see that the board of directors is on top, and then among one of the board of directors is the CEO. He or she will oversee the whole business operation and as a spokesperson. All right, and then the middleman ataupun pengantara antara the board of directors and to the employees. All right. Most of it is you can see CEO most of the time in television because they are the spokesperson of a company. They are the one who is accountable to speak on behalf of the company and so on. So here you can see that a line of director. So it depends on your business. Okay, it depends on your business. Um, Normally, oh, before that I forgot. Okay, so normally for departmentalization, normally this one is the business functions, right? We have about, I think the largest business function that we have is 13 business function, which is HR, finance, accounting, and so on. So most of the company use departmentalization according to the business functions that they have. So it depends on the nature of the company. For example, like here, director, staff director. So we know that this is related to human capital, HR, staff director, and then we do have volunteer director here. Okay, maybe this company is, um, you know, this company is I'm not saying it's charity, but they have a business function like a volunteer department over here, volunteer director over here. And then you can see other directors, for example, like finance, communication, fundraising, program and operation director. These are the business functions. Okay, uh, so this is very common. Okay? The pro is because it defines level of authority and responsibility. You can see clearly here, shows who each person reports to or who to talk to about specific project. Right, you can see that the chain of command is very clear, the line of authority as well. But the cons here is bureaucracy. It can slow down information, it can slow down innovation, mm, can cause employee to act of the interest of their department instead the company as a whole. Right, and then functional. Another common one, it is based on the nature of the company as well. For example, here, um, under head of IT, it is uh, divided, or it is actually divided into or assigned. Okay, assigned security engineer, network engineer. You can see here, cloud architect, security, and so on. Right, based on the function. So the grow of function department is allows employee to focus on their role, right? This is where job descriptions play a very large part, so they can focus on their role. Encourage specialization, and then help teams and department to feel self-determined. Meanwhile, falcons can create silos within an organization because they are working in their own bubble. All right, so less interaction. There is less cross-functional. So the information is being kept within the department, and then they are working. It's not really interrelated with other department, other functions. All right. Yeah, this is what I meant. Interdepartmental communication. There is no cross-functional communication over there. So next is we have horizontal or flat. This is flat, okay, flat compared to just now. It's very hierarchical, right? And flat organization. So this is where narrow span of control. You can see that one person is handling a lot of employees under his or her supervision. Very few levels, right? The pros here is because we don't have so many level. So one employee, they do a lot of they tend to have a lot of responsibility. They can make decision for the company, all right, and then it's open communication. It's very the flow of communication works. How to say? It's more open communication. The We do have compared to This one, interdepartmental communication, we do have that, but instead of interdepartmental, we have functions lah, okay, cross-functional ataupun in one large department because we communicate with each other a lot. But the cons here is to create confusion since they don't have clear supervisor to report to. And sometimes it can be slowed down as well because one leader might be have too many things to do, right? And then there is limited specialization because employees they have a lot of more generalized skill and knowledge, so therefore there is no specialization, right? Can be difficult to maintain once the company grows beyond startup status, right? um, because when they grow bigger, I mean their mission change, their aim change, the target change as well, even the way that they run company. Instead of before this people oriented, it might change to money oriented, profit oriented. Therefore, they need a proper manager, a proper management to guide them, to supervise them, and so on. Okay, so once the company grow, so they might need hierarchical again. Okay, and the rest is division, product based. Okay, I want to highlight this one for product based. As you can see here, um, if you're working in retail, you can um, you can see that their organization structure is based on product or it based on division lah. For example, like women section, men section, kids section, household section, beauty and cosmetic sections, something like that. So this is based on the products ataupun they call division, right? It depends. So here you can see that this is product, skin and face care, cosmetic, personal care. So different product, and under each product they have like a normal structure, functional structure again, or department, right? Depends. But the main, what do you call it? The first, sorry, the middle level management is based on product. I think for banks as well. For banks, they do have like commercial, Islamic banking, housing, and so on. Okay, so different product, they have their own structure. Matrix is a combination of so many things, all right? It can be project and then it can be, so matrix is like a hybrid combination of everything. So it can be like a grid, show cross-functional and so on, right? And then they also have team and the rest. Okay, so this is the, let me show you again so that you can read more. Okay, it's the website is Lucid Chart here, and then 10 types of organization structure. Okay, next is, let's take a look at um, the mechanic versus organic organization structure. So in your notes, in the study notes here, it has explanation, so you guys can read that. The differences between mechanic versus organic organization structure in terms of specialization, departmentalization, the chain of command, and span of control, the thing that we have learned just now. Okay. All right, so the last part, sorry, the second last part of this is the benefit. The vision of labor so that people will know that what they are working as, okay, and you as a company as well, you don't get kind of confused, you know which department, especially like I take example like university. So um, sometimes they do a restructuring because they wanted to know, right? They discover that, oh, this department should whether it's academic affairs or whether it should be like not in academic, or maybe this belongs in should be in the faculty, right? For example, like MQA. So MQA should be in, is it like under faculty or under academic or under registrar? So yeah, right. The division of labor. So you should know where to put your one like subunits or department. Okay. And then management of relationships. So, like I've mentioned to you just now, we don't want your employee to work in silos. We would like them to have more open communication. So, choosing the best structure for you is important for your company because it will affect the communication, the culture, and so on. Right? The job design, the way that people, under job design, we have, like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, like five other characteristics under it, like job autonomy, role, and so on. Okay, so you need to determine this in order for your employees to know, to get better acquainted with their job. Okay, and then it's important for resource allocation to maximize efficiency and effectiveness. And lastly is to coordinate, to better coordinate so that your company will be much um, in control, right? And there is no overlapping of job and so on. Okay, other than that is classifying authority. So your employee should know who's in charge. And then this is all go back to the communication so that you have minimum communication barriers, right? Once you have a proper chain of command to refer to, authority is, what do you call it? Is classified, is outlined, so less communication barrier, right? Okay. Okay. So this is what I said just now. I think it's too small for you to see. The factors that influence the types of organizational design and organization. So one of the factors is strategy. All right, it's highly influenced by the overall strategy that is intended to achieve. Right, it depends on the company. Take a look at what are the strategies that they want to achieve. Let's say for startups, they have different strategy. For corporate, they have different strategy. So which one is the best organizational design for you? The size of the company, the number of your employee also play a factors in determining which one is suitable for you, right? And not only in terms of the size of employees, okay, we are talking about the size of the company. Let's say if you have branch, you have different location. This one, okay, the number of geographical regions that you have operations. So it depends, all right? Maybe it will be easier for you to have a geographical departmentalization. Okay, actually it's here, but we don't go through everything here. This one. Okay, so we do have geographic divisional organization structure. Um, so one of the important ataupun one of the benefit is for them to stay close to their customers. These people, let's say if you have a different department based on their geographic location, so this is more catered to the customer. Right, the pros here. And this is decentralized, okay, decentralized because it promotes independent customized approach like I've mentioned just now. However, the cons here is can result with the company competing with itself, all right, and then insufficient communication between the headquarters and the geographic division. And then in terms of technology and market uncertainty. Okay. So the type of organization structure utilized by organization that is highly dependent on the level of uncertainty associated with the industry. Right? Those that operate in the industry that are not highly affected by market uncertainty, they have flexible organization structure. Okay, next is managing people. So managing people is about managing employees in your workplace. This is a part of organizing as well, where you determine how to how to make sure that your employees work together, because like you read here, they have various the way that their attitude, their belief, age, various attitude, different attitudes, and so on. Okay, so you need to know how to manage these people. They are coming from different parts of the world. They are coming with a lot of their own attitudes. So you need to know how to manage them. Okay. Okay. So these are the elements of effective employee management. So it starts with, if you still remember our previous class, I mentioned that when about culture, it should start with the first one, okay, during the recruitment, during the employee selections. So in order for you to easily manage your employee, right, you should select the best candidate that is suitable for your organization. Okay, so this is when, as a manager and as a HR manager as well, to choose wisely, right? Um, during interviews, yes, people do lie, not lie. Okay, they try to sell themselves. We try to sell ourselves to get the job, because that is our main aim, to get the job, right? So we are going to do whatever it takes for us to get the job. Um, so during the interview process, what managers can do is try to be honest about your organization. Try to tell during the interview what are the culture, what are the things that you believe in, so that um, at least your future employees, they not future potential employee, potential candidate, they should know that if they have what it takes to work there, if they like working there, and so on, right? And you can implement various tasks to discover about their personality, their attitudes, the way of they doing their job, right? During interview as well, you can implement a different approach. For example, one interview that I have been, they are giving me like a situation, and then they ask me to write an essay on the spot, and then they give me like a dilemma questions to see whether, how do we think in a very short time and then under pressure. So yeah, okay, try various approach during the interview process, because this is very important for you to have employee selection. It start with the recruitment process, and then communication, right? In order for you to manage your employee, communication is needed. All right, you are the employer, you are the manager, so you have to communicate. You have to, when I say communicate, means that it doesn't mean that only you are talking, right? Communication involves speaking, writing, listening. All right. So yeah, uh, you need to promote as well two-way communication to seek feedback. What happened in organization normally, the manager or the employer, they don't bother to listen, because in their mind that we are so busy doing things for the company, and then we have so many things to do, then they tend to neglect what their employee feels and so on. We don't have time for that, right? So this can indirectly impact their job satisfaction. So make sure when I talk about communication, it works two ways. So you have to talk, you have to give information, instructions, but remember that you also need to practice the both upward and downward communication, where you should ask feedback, suggestions from them, any kind of disputes, any kind of complaints, right? Important for the employees as well to be heard. to feel that they are mattered. And now there are a lot of research about um, employee wants to involve in decision making. They want to be more involved with the work, okay, because they are pursuing ataupun they are seeking for a quality in what they do instead of just listening, taking all the instructions and like a puppet. They want something that is more challenging, more quality of doing their job and so on. Okay, so yeah, different approach. And then in terms of motivate, this is all relate, right? From if we have a best communication approach, then this can motivate our employee to work more, to feel better about their job, to feel better about coming to work, right? Because motivation is all about force drives them to work to finish what they supposed to do, right? I think that we are all familiar with motivation because we are. Doesn't matter if you are employee or employer, we still need motivation to do whatever that we are supposed to do in workplace, right? Okay. So yeah, and then teamwork, right? Teamwork. This is important as well because in department it involves a certain number of people where you group together. If you remember the process that I told you just now, so this group of people they should have good teamwork, right? Um, as an employer, they cannot manage every department. That's why we have decentralized, and then this the middle level manager or first level manager. They are the one who will oversee all these things, right? At least by having teamwork, we could achieve the department's target and goal, right? So indirectly or okay, indirectly, as a result, this achievement it will lead to company's performance in certain ways. Okay, and then training and development. So in order for us to have the best employee to manage employee and so on, so we need the employee who is um, up to date, all right, up to date with the current skill, current technology. Nowadays, everything is digitalized, so we need employees who is IT literate, right? Therefore, we have to send them for training and then for their also personal development. Right? So these are the benefits of effective management of people. You can read in the notes below, right? But I think I have covered a few of them. When we have a better people management, we can attract top talent. Okay, like I've mentioned to you just now, right? You do a lot of testing during the test yeah, selection process. During the selection process you do a lot of approach and so on, so you can get the best of the best top talent. Okay, and then this when you have good talent in your company, it will it will affect your reputation. So people will know that, oh, it's not easy to go to the company. You have to be the best of the best. Yeah, you have to be the best of the best lah, because this is the reputation that you have. Okay, indirectly, that people will say that that's a good company, right? And every company wants to hear that you are a good company. Okay, lastly about managing relations. Okay, so these are some of the stakeholders that we have in business. We have employee. This is a primary ataupun internal stakeholder employee relationship. When we talk about managing relations, you must remember that don't just focus on customer relation. Right, customer relationship is very very important. I know because they are the source of your company profit, the source of income, and the main goal of the company is to increase, to maximize profit. But again, you have to remember that you have people working for you, which is employee, right? You have to manage a good relationship with them as well. Okay, but not only that, you also have business to business, for example, like your supplier, your even your competitors. Okay, um, and then all the related stakeholders. For example, if you are a company that in a neighborhood area, right? If you are a university, I'm sorry that my example is university. So why I talk about university, because university they need to have a very good relations with the business surrounding them, right? Business surrounding them. Um, One of the thing is because these businesses, let's say they will have an issue of, let's say, if in the neighborhood area with a lot of students, so it will become very noisy. This is just an example, okay? Very noisy, and then you can see that a lot of people are loitering around, lepak-lepaking, and so on. So maybe it's not pretty, all right? But yeah, so this is when a good relation, lah, business to business relation, and then also for businesses to really take care of their internal stakeholders, and then the government as well. Okay, so when we talk about corporate communication, we have several um, relations that we have to take care of. Okay, for example, like government relations, media relation, employee relation, and lastly is customer relations. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at here. Sorry. Um, so this article, I found it in Indeed. Is 7 steps to maintain business relationship. Right? You can see here, um, similar with your slide, we do have employee relationship, we have colleague relationship, customer relationship, vendor relationship, mentor, and so on. Okay. So why it's important to maintain this business relationship? Because when you have ability to network with others, you can open yourself to job opportunities and project. Okay. So how to maintain business relationship is you offer values to others, right? Value is very important, especially let's say if you are in marketing, value is everything. Value is the main thing, right? People seek when we do something, when we pay something, we would like to get the benefit of it, which is the value, right? And then regularly checking in. Okay, so this apply to your employee as well. Like I've mentioned to you, ask feedback about them. Okay, regularly check in. Ask your customer as well, right? What makes them loyal? You can give them rewards and so on. That's why we have all those marketing strategies, okay, to maintain their business relationship. And then for your supplier, for your anyone, okay, you can ask to meet for lunch or cup of coffee to catch up, and then learn and share about goals. Ask for feedback, express your gratitude, and for your employee, you can give praise and encouragement. This is free. There is no cost, right? Just giving them praise for their achievement, something that they have achieved. Send an email to them so that they know that you are proud of their work. Okay, free. It's very easy, and it can increase the motivation. But when you give praise and encouragement, make sure that it's genuine. It is not scripted. All right. Make sure that they know that they are being acknowledged, they are being valued, right? And even though that this is free, but not for long term, they might need some monetary monetary rewards as well. Okay, so that's all for organizing. I'm going to continue with unit 6, which is the next one is managing human capital.